It is extremely important to me that the stories we share are authentic and that we strive to tell both perspectives. I've been a local to this remarkable island 3 times and a tourist too many times to count. Our Home Your Holiday celebrates Aruba. There's a reason why Arubans are so patriotic, and there's a reason why visitors keep coming back. Let's dive into the elements that makes Aruba our home and the perfect holiday. Welcome to Our Home Your Holiday. I'm your host, Yento Liu. There are countless reasons to support local farming. When you choose to buy local produce, the money directly goes back into local farmers, meaning you're ultimately supporting a local business. The best part of buying local produce, they deliver the same day they harvest, so whatever hits your table is much fresher. Plus, you also help with environmental reasons as well. When you buy local, it cuts out overseas shipping, so it reduces gas emissions that would ultimately come over with planes and boats. Let's learn more about farming in Aruba. Welcome to the method of hydroponic farming. It is a modern and innovative way of growing plants without soil. In hydroponics farming, plants are grown in a water-based solution that contains all the necessary nutrients, which are delivered directly to the plant's roots. This allows for faster growth, higher yields, and more efficient use of resources. Jake Adens takes us around the Kanuku Fresh Farm, which started 5 years ago with 1 greenhouse. Today, it has 4 fully functional greenhouses producing 800 lettuce heads per day. They distribute to your neighborhood restaurants and grocery stores, as well as hotels. He tells us why hydroponics works.
It works because you control the environment way better, right? As you can see, we're inside a controlled environment. We control the nutrient content, the pH levels, and it's much more efficient with water, and it's also more efficient with space.
Let's start with space. At the start, about 200 seeds are placed into this planter you see right here. At this stage, minimal space is required. With hydroponics, farmers have the ability to manipulate space and adapt once the lettuce grows bigger.
So these lettuce are in their 3rd and 4th weeks of life, let's say, and that's when they're here. And this is a space-saving technique because, as you can see, the lettuce here are closer together.
As the lettuce continues to mature, farmers can remove a panel, giving the vegetable the space it needs to flourish. Efficient use of space allows for better productivity. As you can imagine, space saving is important, especially when it comes to a small island.
In Aruba, of course, that's also going to be an issue, right? Land. So land is a very limited resource, and we're a growing population, not only on the island, but also in the world. And if you use less space to grow more food, it's just better.
In addition to this way of farming being a space saver, another great thing about this method is that every drop of water has a purpose and doesn't get wasted.
One of the main benefits of the hydroponic system is water efficiency, and that's because we have like a cyclical system with water. This is how the lettuce get water in this little tube right here, right? So this nutrient-rich water goes to the lettuce, they take what they need, and the rest of the water goes all the way there, use gravity, and falls back in that pipe, and it runs all the way here back into the tank, where it gets more nutrients and a pH balance, and then the whole process starts again with a pump.
The way the water circulates with hydroponics farming allows for water conservation, making every drop go a long way. This, of course, makes business as well as environmental sense. So we've learned quite a bit about farming hydroponically on the island. Let's get into the best part of local produce for you as the viewer. When you buy lettuce imported outside of Aruba, it is likely the produce is already 2 weeks old before it even hits your fridge. The freshness of buying local is unmatched.
So we harvest in the morning, we pack, and then it goes into the truck and to the supermarkets and to the restaurants, right? So you have like super fresh lettuce.
With enough support, local farmers in Aruba could potentially supply all of Aruba with lettuce in the future. This would mean a decrease in overseas imports, which is, of course, a big plus for the environment.
When you're importing lettuce, they come by ship. I even heard sometimes they come by plane from the Netherlands. It's pretty crazy, that's a lot of fuel costs. And I mean, for now, we still need it because our production capacity is not, we cannot like distribute to the whole island yet. But you know, by supporting us, you help us grow, and maybe one day we could, you know, reach like 80–90% of the island, like not only alone with other farmers, of course.
The next time you are at the supermarket, think about where your produce is coming from and ask yourself, could I be buying local? And here is our next story. Traditional farming is alive and very well on the island of Aruba. Jimmy Ramos is a local farmer, and arguably he has the most interesting and the most diverse collection of fruits and vegetables that he plants and grows. The vast number of fruits and vegetables includes beans, cucumbers, okras, pineapples, macaproms, and so much more. What Jimmy may be best known for, though, could be his way with dragons. Dragon fruits, to be exact. Jimmy first started farming back in 1994, and at first he started with basic local foods. But let me tell you, when I say this farm has most definitely grown. We are standing inside the dragon fruit farm, and currently he grows 45 different varietals. And once he harvests them, he sells about 80 kilos worth a week at the local family business. So how did Jimmy get into the business of cultivating and nurturing these spiky things? Well, it turns out people learn a thing or two from watching news reports.
One time I remember that in CNN about 14 years ago, they did a documental in Israel of what they are harvesting there, and it came into a picture the dragon fruits. And I told my wife, look at this report. And she said, I love that fruit. I wish I could have that fruit.
Since then, the rest was history. Jimmy was immediately inspired and did his research on how he can grow his own dragon fruits on the island. He is doing much more than just planting and growing them. Through hybrid experimentation, Jimmy's farm is home to one-of-a-kind dragon fruits that taste like mango or pears and so many other exotic flavors. Jimmy told me he goes for the wow factor flavors. Mr. Ramos gives us a quick scientific look into how he creates the hybrid fruits.
During the night shift, we had to transpollinate each flowers. Okay, the butterflies and the bat will do that work, but if you want to be really selective to get a hybrid, you have to make sure there's no contamination from other pollen. So it takes a while in order to transpollinate whatever you want to make. So from that hybrid that you just made, you have to pick up the seeds and plant about more than 100 plants. And from that little plants, you graft it into a mature plant, and in 1 year, you're gonna get your hybrid which you wish. Here you go.
Finally, it's time to taste. Oh, that smells so fresh. Okay, and then I just bite into it.
You can squeeze it like this.
Squeeze it?
Squeeze it like this, and
Oh my goodness. So sweet.
it tastes like coconut.
And it tastes like coconut. There is something scratching at the surface beneath the soil right here. James grows many different things here on his farm. He's about to show us something else that is homegrown.
You probably see this little over here. In Aruba, we call him pui. It injects itself in the soil like this. And after it receives the moist and the minerals and the pollen, it starts get pollinate. And you see this, it started like this, like a little juice right here, a tiny bit right here. And then it grows that big. And voila, and you got a peanut right there. The soil is really open because of the manure. It's organically. People will say, oh, gross. No, it's not gross. It's just nature. If you want to be an organic eater, you do have to pay a price. Eat it.
Jimmy is not only passionate and still very excited about farming, but he is also very skilled at it. He's managed to be incredibly innovative with a farming method that is as traditional as it comes. It turns out, farming runs in the family.
My grandfather taught me how to farm. He used to work a lot like a foreman, and he taught me how to cultivate the land. So the first land I cultivated was my grandfather's in Piedra Plata, and I've been doing it for a long time. He passed away, and he left the legacy with me. So I love farming. Wherever I go, if I went to Venezuela, I cultivated Venezuela. I went to the States, I also cultivate in the States. So wherever I go, I plant.
Welcome to 297 Farm. Besides for 9 varieties of lettuce, they also grow a number of other produce as well, such as bok choy, spring onions, fresh arugula, basil, and they are even testing edible flowers. But there's more. The more local you buy, the more opportunity you are giving our local farmers to diversify. Take a look at what 297 Farms is doing. This is a teeny tiny baby watermelon, but they harvested this today. Hydroponics farmer Patricia says they are constantly exploring different produce that can be homegrown instead of imported in, and this watermelon is the latest.
The newest experiment is with watermelons, actually, and it's actually a yellow watermelon, so not the traditional red or pink watermelon you are accustomed to seeing. So the yellow one is a little different taste, a lot juicier, a little bit less on the sweeter side, but it doesn't grow quite as big as the other ones you're accustomed to either. So we are experimenting with maybe growing that as well.
Patricia Mitten is American and originally from Boston. She says not only are we keeping the money in Aruba when you buy local, but you're minimizing waste accumulating on the island as well.
It's important that locals understand that when you see these shipping containers come in, that there's approximately a 30% waste just in that container as soon as it hits the island. So you open that container and 30% is already spoiled. So that's a lot of money that we as locals are, paying for produce and goods that we can't even consume. That's basically just being added to the problem that we have in the landfill already. So by locals supporting local artisans, local producers, the biggest thing for me is the money's going to stay here. I don't have to send this money to the U.S. to buy this product or buy that product or pay this shipping container or whoever to get the stuff here. Instead, all the money that is made locally stays locally.
We've talked a lot about how buying local helps the farmers in Aruba, but the amount of benefits for the residents of the island are endless.
So that's probably the biggest thing is the freshness that I think people maybe don't realize is that, a lot of people, you buy stuff in the supermarket and within 24 hours it's dead in your refrigerator, and it's very frustrating because things are so expensive these days. Food is expensive. So for us, if you come here, whether you buy it from us directly or you buy it from the supermarket, know that lettuce was harvested within 24, 48 hours before it hit the supermarket shelf. In most cases, we harvest on Monday and it hits the shelf on Monday. So you're basically buying something as if you had it in your own backyard, where you're going in your garden, pulling it, and then you can consume it. But the nice thing is, even if you don't consume it the day you buy it, so let's say like me, you shop once a week because you're busy, you got things to do, you do your weekly shopping, and that lettuce will stay in the refrigerator for 2 weeks and it won't go bad.
The future goal for this local farmer is to expand and grow, with no pun intended. So hopefully we see more and more Aruban grown foods.
So we got a property of 15,000 square meters that we plan to expand over the next 4 or 5 years. So hopefully within the next 5 years we'll have this complete property expanded into, and then we'll be growing not only lettuce, but cucumbers, tomatoes, melons, as much as we could possibly do here, we want to be able to grow locally.
We've talked a lot about buying local and local farming today. You may be thinking to yourself, okay, but how do I buy local? Well, 297 Farms hosts a weekly farmers market every Saturday from 9 to 11 a.m. 297 Farms is located in Savanetta, so make sure you check them out. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for on-demand access to all our stories. We'll see you next time.